Alright, welcome to this short tutorial on creating graphs and charts with your data. One thing I want to start with real quick is just to show you how to change the names of the sheets that I forgot to do in the last video. So really quickly, here's all you have to do. You just click on the little arrow next to the sheet name right now. So right now I'm down here, it says sheet 1. I just want to click on rename. And this sheet is just by alpha order. So I'm just going to name that one alpha. Right here, sheet 3, we sorted it by student-teacher ratio. So I'm going to do something like an abbreviation so I don't have to write that whole thing out. Like stu T ratio. Okay. And then finally this last one was total expense, total expenditures. I'm going to rename it to total expense. Okay, so just some abbreviations, but now I know which of the sheets have which sorted column really easily just by looking at the name of the sheet. So, starting back here, alpha, I don't really want to make a graph or chart on this one, but I do want to make a graph or chart with the information sorted in student-teacher ratio. So I'm going to start on this tab. Basically, to start a graph or a chart, you need to tell the spreadsheet what information you want to graph first. So let me show you something. I know I want to sort this student-teacher ratio. So I'm going to click at the top, and I'm just going to drag my mouse down with the button down. So I'm clicking and dragging down until I've selected all of that column of information. Then I'm going to go over here to my little Insert Chart button. Also, just for your knowledge, you can go over to Insert and Chart right here under the Insert menu. But this is an easy shortcut. So I'm just going to click on Insert Chart, and it's going to make a pretty good guess. It's going to actually graph the information, but I don't know what state any of this information goes along with. That's a problem. Okay? So I'm going to just click on that and delete it so it goes away. Okay? So what I want to do first is to select the states. So I'm going to pull down, again, select, click and drag down column A. Then, here's the critical part. I have to hold down the control button. You can't see that, but I'm holding down the control button, the CTRL button on my keyboard. I'm going to come over here and do the same thing, click and drag down in the column I want to actually graph. So I have column A selected and I have column E selected, but nothing in between. Now I can click on my Insert Chart and check it out. My graph has the information I need with the states labeled below telling me which states go along with which bar. So that's really nice. Now that's a helpful graph. Now it does make some guesses here as to how you want to present the information, and sometimes it doesn't guess right. So here in our title it says student-teacher ratio versus states. Well, it's not really versus states, so I'm going to click up here, and I can click in that title. If I click again, I kind of click twice. I'm going to take out versus just by deleting it, or backspacing, and put in by. So student-teacher ratio by states. That's more correct. Okay? I can also come over here to customize, and there's various things I can do. Let's see, under series, for instance, I can easily change the color of my graph. Okay, stuff like that. So you can come through and you can kind of explore some of those options. After you make the actual graph itself, then you can start to customize it a little bit. Once you're done, you just simply click off of it, but now it's covering up my data. So it's kind of like a graphic or a picture. I can click on it. If I click near the border, I can just click and drag it down, move it down a little bit. So now I can see all of my data and my graph too. All right, let's go through that one more time with our total expenditures. Okay, so first thing, I want to select my states. So I'm just going to click on states and just drag all the way down through my states. Hold down the control button on my keyboard. Come over to the other column I want, which is total expenditures. Click and drag down. Okay, so I have those two columns selected. And I'm going to click on the Insert Chart. There we go. And there it is. I basically have my chart created. It was very simple, very easy. Another thing I wanted to show you was under Customize, Chart Style. Nope, that's not it. Setup. There it is. Okay, so under Setup, Chart Type, if I click down that menu, I have some different types of graphs I can do. So here, a bar graph is great. I could still make a very similar bar graph, or it actually calls this a column graph, or I can make a bar graph, which goes the other direction. Sometimes it's nice to see the information a little bit differently, just depending on what the information is. Again, don't forget to change your title if the information doesn't look right. So I'm going to click in there. Just delete the verses and put in by states. Okay, and that's more correct. And then I can click off of that. I can click on the border. Remember, I'm clicking to move it. I'm clicking near the edge, near the border of the graph. I can just click and drag it down so I can see all my information again. There you have it. I've created a couple graphs with the information. It makes that information so much easier to understand, see. It gives it that visual sense. Thank you.